Several organizations, they just immediately jumped into action. Volunteers, resources, they all flooded the area and helped people really get back on their feet after Helene's wrath. All Hands and Hearts is one of those nonprofit organizations that really jumped right into the action to provide aid for homeowners specifically.
Yeah, and their CEO, Nate Mook, joins us now. Nate, thank you so much for just spending a few minutes with us here on Fox Weather. We appreciate it. And Nate, tell us more about not just your team, but how you guys immediately jumped into action in Asheville to help those the victims and, of course, the local businesses.
Absolutely, Britt and Michael. Thank you so much for having me this morning. This is what we're seeing more of across the United States, these huge storms hitting, and the need for emergency response is so critical in the immediate aftermath. So we had our staff and volunteers jumped in North Carolina, helped clean up debris, helped provide emergency supplies. We supported over 10,000 people, and we're still there. The long-term cleanups needs remain 1 year later. Families are still trying to get back into their homes. So in addition to that early emergency phase of just getting on the ground and start digging out sometimes 4 feet of mud and other debris out of homes and roads, we got to help folks get back in their homes.
And you talk about that transition, having to pivot and move to the next need. What do you think is most needed right now in Western North Carolina?
Yeah, I think it's really important that we remember that communities are still rebuilding even now, that they need resources, they need support. NGOs like All Hands and Hearts are still on the ground. There's a homeowner that our team just spoke to, Roland, and he's been out of his home for over a year, and we're putting the finishing touches on his house. This is a long process. First, you have to get everything out of the house. You have to make it safe. You have to do the mold sanitation. You have to rip out the drywall, the floors. Sometimes the roof has to be redone. And we asked Roland, what are you most excited about getting back in your house? And he said, I'm looking forward to cooking a meal for the first time in my own kitchen in a year. And I think that really tells you that, folks have really been struggling. And I think, there's a lot going on in the world, but it's really important that we remember that folks are still getting back home. And so whatever anybody can do to continue to support that, you can come volunteer with All Hands and Hearts. Our team is still there in the Asheville area, helping repair homes and get folks back inside in safe places.
Yeah, Nate, I'm putting myself in that position to be that homeowner that just wants that good old-fashioned home-cooked meal. We can all relate to that. What's the community support like, Ben, outside of the home, on the ground?
It's truly been incredible. In the worst of these moments, we really see the best of humanity, right? Communities coming together. I was just yesterday with the mayor of Asheville, and it really is a community-led event, both locally, but also from all around. We've had volunteers come in from across the United States and even internationally come in to help support these communities. And some of these communities were very isolated. They were cut off for quite a long time, for many months. Still debris needed to be removed. And so it was a long process, but everybody was coming together to do what they can. And I think that's really important in these difficult moments.
Yeah, and a good example for the rest of our country. Nate, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, but more importantly, thank you for being such a great CEO for All Hands and Hearts and the hard work that you guys are doing in North Carolina. We wish you the best, and we certainly will have you in our hearts and prayers with everything that could be unfolding in the days ahead.
Thank you so much.